Witan is the flexible city planning platform that allows you to run multiple models and try out scenarios for your local area. If you have received an invite code, click Create Account, enter the code together with your name and email address, and click Create. If you've forgotten your password, just enter your email address and reset it. However, for this demo, we do have our login details, so we will simply sign in. And this takes us to the workspaces. Workspaces is a way to work with more of an open canvas in the way you can create models, you can change models, run models, create projections, as well as visualize your output. You can think about it a bit as Excel workbooks. You can do all kinds of work within one, and you can easily create as many as you want. So here we got some that we've worked on in the past. However, for this, we're going to create a new one. So we enter a name and a short description. And this takes us to the workspaces. As you can see, you kind of have two levels. The top one is for running the models and visualizing them, whereas the bottom part has more to do with data and configurations. So up here you can switch between model view and visualization view. At the moment we haven't selected a model. At the bottom here we have configurations. So those are the parameters for the model, data as well as result history. So here you will see all the different scenarios you have run. Workspace is a very flexible setup, which means that it can be used for any kind of model. For the configurations, those parameters that you indicate in the model to be parameters will be picked up under this tab. Hence you can run any kind of model and just indicate which part of the model needs to be set or decided on by the user. So up here you would have a range of models. At the moment we have just the cohort component model, but going forward we will populate this space with several more models useful to city planners. So we click the cohort component model. This is the model we want to run, and immediately you can see how the workspaces get populated. So you get the data, the configurations. At the top you have something that's now a placeholder, but this is actually the structure of the whole model. And going forward, this model will actually be visualized in this kind of graph format. So you would have nodes, you would have data as inputs, and it would actually give you a visual understanding of how the model is put together and how the different functions sit. But as for now, this is just a placeholder showing the structure of the model. But as you can see, these are all the components of the cohort component model. So for example, you would have projected domestic in-migration as well as historic mortality. If we look at the bottom half, we would have the configuration. The configurations tab then shows all of the parts of the model that can be edited and changed. So you see these are mainly years for this one. What is the first year, last year, what years the trend is based on. All models come with preset default numbers that some expert has recommended. So in this case, is the GLA demography team. But going forward, all of this would be much more far more easier to use. You would have drop-down menus, for example, for the years. You would have names that make more sense, even if you're not an expert user. For percentages, you might have a slider. But at the moment, these are preset, then you can just change them by typing. On the data tab, you can see that the model automatically picks up the input data that's required. And these are all, as you can see, links to our data store. For the component model that we're running here, all the data is ONS data. And as you can see, they're all based around trend or based on a GSS code. So the one thing we need to pick now is actually which local authority we want to run this model for. And we say that it's going to be for Middlesbrough. So we type in the GSS code for that local authority. Again, going forward, you would have a drop-down menu here that you can just pick the local authority you're interested in. So you don't need to know which code it is. And there you see how the data links are all then populated automatically with the right GSS code. And we hit run. So now we're running the model. It takes about 20 seconds. That has come down from about 90 seconds from our previous model, so it's an improvement. Going forward, we look to improve this, and any results that you run will be cached, and in that way, when you just change a small thing, say one input, it will be much faster to run subsequent scenarios. So here we have the population projection for Middlesbrough. And we can click download, and we'll get the results in the CSV file. But we can also click the visualization button, and that actually gives us an overview of the same table that you find in the CSV file. So you can see here are the historic data as well as projections. And you can see here by 2017 we started getting the projections. We can then add a filter, so we can select only to see a certain age group. We're picking 9 here, and then you see we only display a table with 9-year-olds for Middlesbrough. We can add another filter, so we'll only see males, 9-year-old males. You can see automatically that the table has included only those. We can then hit visualization and we will get a line graph. And while in the line graph we can still apply the filter, so we can, for example, change the age group. We can look at 65-year-old males instead. And look at the nodes, you would get the projected values for each year. So that's a quick way to get a visualization of a projection and change the filters. Witan is also very powerful when it comes to do comparisons or do what-if scenarios. So we decide we want to compare 3 different local authorities. So here we've chosen Redcar, we hit run, and we get another projected output. We hit run for one more projection. I see they all show up in our result history. And now we got our 3 projection runs. But of course these were just changing the local authority, but we could equally have just changed something within the parameters. So here we select them, we hit visualize, and we can see them all on the same graph. So it's easy to compare when you're running multiple scenarios. This might be something that you would like to share with a colleague. So you click the link button, which will create a URL code that you can then type in, paste in, and email it. And your colleague can see exactly the same view that you have seen. And the filtering works in the emailed URL link as well. So that's the basic overview of Witan. Of course, as I said, it's very flexible. The configurations here do not have to do specifically about population projections. It can be about anything that you indicate in the model. That should be a configuration. And similar with data, you can choose to use your own data or pick other sets of data from our API, and it's just a matter of changing the address. Thank you so much for watching.